Hello, friends. This reflection is for the 23rd Sunday of Ordinary Time. Jesus gives us once again more profound words in the Gospel of Luke. And in this one, he talks about something that's very concrete, which is very important in order to be one of his disciples. He says, and I quote, "Whoever does not carry his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple." So what we hear is there's this grace of discipleship that Jesus invites us to. He wants us to follow him because he is, as he tells us in the Gospel of John, he is the way, the truth, and the life. Now, in many of the Gospels, particularly in the Gospel of Luke, Jesus talks about this discipleship. And he invites us to come along with him, to follow him, to be a part of the kingdom of heaven, which is on earth now. Catherine Macaulay puts it well when she said, "When Jesus Christ calls on us to renounce all for his sake, it is not his intention to leave us friendless or without comfort, but to fill up the vacuum in our hearts with himself, that is, with delights far surpassing any the world could bestow, and a happiness such as the inhabitants of heaven alone can enjoy." So what is this happiness that we talk about? Well, first of all, happiness is, people would say, like, oh, living the good life, or hitting in the billion-dollar jackpot, Powerball, whatever it is these days, getting that good car, getting, lots of money, seeing the world. They think that's the good life. But what Jesus wants us to do is he wants us to live something that is bigger than ourselves. Something that is far more reaching. Something that we may think we can have on this earth now. But in reality, when we leave this earth, some of these things, like the car, the money, the clothes, they're not coming with us. It is fitting that as I post this video, or you're probably seeing this by now, the Catholic Church welcomes two new saints, both of which existed a century apart. In one example, we have Carlo Acutis, who I had the opportunity to meet his mother, and she is a walking relic, believe me. Blessed Carlo Acutis, soon to be saint, by the way, reminds us that we must embark on the highway to heaven. Now, like any typical kid, first millennial saint, by the way, in case you forgot, he reminds us that we must strive to get to heaven now. We must strive to receive Jesus more frequently. We must strive to be in his presence more, like those that go to the beach and get sun. Those were the things that he lived by. Granted, he was only 15 years old, but he developed the knowledge, and at the time, too, the internet was starting to come around a little bit. And of course, the digital age basically began by the time he was born. Yet he harnessed those things to put forth his gifts and talents for the greater glory of God. He even at one point created a website that documented every single Eucharistic miracle around the world, despite the fact that he died at the age of 15. He lived a life that was pleasing to God. He was able to carry the cross with him. He never denied it. Rather, he accepted it. Then we have another saint that existed a century ago, Pier Giorgio Frassati. Frassati was a friend to those who were outcast, who were poor, who were marginalized. He even took friends on hiking expeditions, making sure they prayed the rosary. And he was also a third order Dominican, which is like a kind of like a lay version of the Dominican order. And there's like a requirement where you pray the rosary every day. You do A, B, and C. But his motto was to the heights. And I think for us to be disciples, we must strive to look up. We must look to the heights because Jesus is there. After all, the cross that hung our salvation stood on a hill. And by that cross, we were redeemed. Friends, as we navigate the 23rd week and we welcome these two heroic men, let us pause and remember that we must be willing to accept Jesus, to be his disciple, to say yes to it, to reach out to those who are marginalized. It is a great gift. And as Catherine McCauley continues to remind us, God permitted, if we read of extraordinary things, miracles being performed by some of the saints, God permitted this, not as a testimony of their sanctity, but for the conversion of those who were witnesses of them. These two great men, they were witnesses. They brought about the kingdom of God on earth. Both died young, absolutely. But their legacy was sharing the gospel, was being part of a discipleship. So friends, let us remember to take up our crosses and let's carry them now. God bless.